presented by Miller Lite, live on Spike. Bellator MMA now features 3 5-minute rounds brought to you tonight by DraftOps.com, the official online fantasy partner of Bellator, who's in your lineup at DraftOps.com. And now, introducing the blue corner first, at 5'8", weighing in 139.2 pounds. As a professional, he brings 18 wins with 5 losses from Rosemount, Minnesota. Introducing Mike the Marine Richman. And across the cage, his adversary tonight, fighting out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 135.2 pounds. The former Bellator Bantamweight World Champion tonight returns with 16 professional victories, 4 defeats from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing Dudu Eduardo Dantas. In charge of the action, your referee, Michael Bell.
Both men at the crossroads. The winner will take a huge step forward.
All right, gentlemen, you got your instructions backstage. I expect you to defend yourself at all times and obey my commands all times. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Back to your corners.
Quality stare down.
No glove touching in this fight.
Former champion Eduardo Dantas. The knockout specialist, Mike Richman.
Eduardo, you ready? Wait.
Round number 1. Flying start from Dantas, the kick, and hits the takedown. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Both fighters taking this fight very personally. I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. They have that gladiator mentality. It's been in their eyes for the last 2 days.
Blue gloves for Richman, red gloves for Dantas.
Both these guys usually friendly, talkative, not before this fight.
First fight for Eduardo Dantas since last October when he dropped the belt, losing a 5-round unanimous decision versus Joe Warren. I referenced it a moment ago. Dantas still refers to the title as his belt, his championship. Of course, now being worn by his one-time good friend and training partner, Marcos Galvão.
Mike Richman apologized at the weigh-in for being unprofessional. He felt bad about it, but you know, you can't do that at this level, and also gives you such a tremendous physical advantage. He is gigantic tonight. I think Eduardo Dantas doing the right thing, staying close, staying away from the power of Mike Richman. Make that size and weight a disadvantage. Put him on his back, keep him there.
Look at the wrist control from Dantas. Wrist control sucking in the left arm of Mike Richman. Big elbow. Butterfly guard now for Richman.
Now we saw against Popo Bazeja at 145, Richman has great defense. He was on the ground a lot in that fight, got his back taken, was not submitted, ended up winning a decision. But he's a hard guy to submit. Now back to his feet.
Richman back to his feet indeed. Dantas staying sticky, staying tight. Good turn from Richman. There's the separation.
Another thing you want to do is take the energy out of a guy who's explosive, who has fast hands.
Douglas Lima weighing in on Twitter. There's Liam McGeary. See the cut outside of Dantas's left brow.
Straight right hand, straight to the takedown. Beautiful transition.
LC Davis on Twitter. LC Davis, I spoke with him in Kansas City on Saturday. He feels that he's next in line for a world title shot, Bellator's 135-pound strap.
Then you have Darion Caldwell, a great fight tonight, 135, really heating up in Bellator. Joe Warren still very much in the mix. Hideo Tokoro, love that guy.
Mike Richman was, of course, a United States Marine. Bellator and Spike encourage our nation's veterans to make the same commitment to their health that they made to their country. Veterans Operation Wellness, or VOW, promotes physical and mental health and wellness. What's your VOW? This is the range, the medium distance that Mike Richman wants. Not fully in the pocket, but not outside. Puncher's range.
Dantas has to do everything he can to stay out of that medium range.
Dantas talked about his agility, his striking, his grappling, his black belt pedigree in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Richman Jimmy talked about one thing, his hands.
If there's a striking edge for Dantas, it's in his versatility. He does a lot standing up. Knees, kicks, elbows. Richman known mostly for his boxing.
Still to come, our main event, Grove versus Halsey. 45 seconds remaining, round number 1. Not much on that body kick from Dantas.
If there's been a weakness in Richman's style in the past with his boxing, it's that if he doesn't set up the perfect shot, he doesn't throw. You know, he's always trying to set up that perfect left-hand knockout shot. Either he gets it or he doesn't throw at all. He doesn't throw a lot of punches if he doesn't feel he can find that perfect shot, so he can get outworked sometimes. That's what Dantas is trying to do from the outside.
It's a great point, Jimmy, because Richman talks a lot about accuracy over volume.
Right, but sometimes you need volume to set up your accuracy. One shot won't do it.
Richman trying to explode in, nothing there. Dantas circles out. Mike Richman versus Eduardo Dantas in the Bellator cage. Two outstanding MMA strikers. Two outstanding MMA fighters right now. Mike Richman, largely a striker, but has shown ground skills against Eduardo Dantas, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, who has also shown an acumen for striking, not just with the hands, but with the knees, the elbows, the feet, and the shins.
In his second round, Mike Richman looks much more prepared for the takedown, for the transition from the punch to the takedown that Dantas used in the first round. Something to keep in mind, Mike Richman has never scored a knockout past the first round.
Jimmy, your scorecard through round 1?
10-9, Eduardo Dantas. I gave him that first round.
You can use the hashtag Bellator137. Weigh in on Twitter at Jimmy Smith MMA, at Sean Wheelock. Also on the free Bellator MMA app. Score every round live as you're the 4th judge. So Richman stalking Dantas from the southpaw stance. Strikes landed, round 1 courtesy of CompuStrike.
Richman threw more, landed slightly more. Dantas have got the takedowns more than once. This time he has not been successful with it. Richman now cranking for the guillotine, lets it go.
Richman using his grappling, his wrestling defensively. Again, this is where he wants it, the medium stand-up range.
And that's where that size advantage, he didn't make weight, he's the heavier, bigger guy. That sprawl has a lot more power behind it.
Dantas clearly trying to mix up his strategy, trying to implement the grappling, trying to implement the jiu-jitsu.
One thing is, it takes more energy, I think, to constantly go for a takedown and not get it than it does to simply sprawl and defend.
Short overhand right from Dantas.
One thing Dantas hasn't really found is a consistent striking offense. He's had his little moments where he's landed pot shots like that. But he's been using it to transition to the takedown.
Richman keeping his hands much higher than Dantas. The left hand of Eduardo Dantas at his hip. Step in uppercut from Mike Richman. Shades of his boxing hero, Prince Nassim Hamed.
Yep.
You have to be fast to throw a step in uppercut. Swing and a miss from Richman.
Richman doing a much better job in this round of controlling the range. He's the aggressor, he's the stalker. He's thrown twice as many punches as Eduardo Dantas.
Swing and a miss by Dantas. We saw Richman did not pounce. No interest in doing so.
landed about the same, but Richman being much busier.
Jimmy, you see Dantas' mouth is now wide open.
Two things, he's going for takedowns he's not getting, and he's constantly moving his feet. He's constantly being forced to use his legs and angle.
Richman defends and walks through that Dantas kick. Richman remains in full stalking mode. Dantas largely on his bike now. Jimmy, Dantas having no success time and time again going for that single leg.
The question is, what is Eduardo Dantas' plan B? Plan A was obviously come in, take him down, use my jiu-jitsu advantage. Round number 2 has not been successful with the takedown. What is his plan B?
Straight right hand by Dantas. Again looking for the single leg. Again the effective sprawl from Mike Richman. Richman very clear-eyed in his approach, in his strategy, Jimmy.
Another straight right by Dantas, but not a lot of power behind it.
Final seconds, round number 2. A slip from Dantas again. Richman, no interest in following him to the ground. There's the bell, the end of round number 2.
All right, third and final round. You ready, Mike? Hey, back up.
Michael Bell set to start the third and final round. 18-5 Mike Richman versus Bellator's former bantamweight world champion, 16-4 Eduardo Dantas. Jimmy, your scorecard.
I have it all tied up. I gave Mike Richman that last round 10-9, basically based on his activity level. They both landed 13 strikes. Dantas threw 26, Richman threw 41. Just the busier guy in round 2.
Fans scoring at home on the free Bellator MMA app. You see it just like Jimmy. Straight right hand from Dantas, nothing there. You can see Jimmy Richman uses those low kicks almost like a jab to set up the punching. No real intent to turn over those kicks.
Both guys are throwing power shots. Dantas with the right, Richman with the left, but they're not setting it up really. We're not seeing volumes, we're not seeing combinations. Someone needs to change it up in order to land effective strikes here. Spinning back fist, that did not land, but it made a good noise.
There is the takedown from Eduardo Dantas. Finally hits the single leg. Richman the butterfly guard. Body head with the right hand from Eduardo Dantas. Trying to go to work now on the ground is the Brazilian. Richman looking to posture, looking to sit up and through. Dantas staying heavy. Dantas trying to find his striking from the open guard now with Mike Richman. Again, 1-1 Jimmy on your scorecard.
Let's work.
Just holding position, but not really landing effectively.
Here's the problem he's having. He wants to land good ground and pound. He wants to really take over this third round, but he knows if he sits up, Mike Richman's going to push him off and explode back to his feet. So it's a matter of balancing that physical pressure with damage with the punching. It's hard to do both.
Just starting to open up wider with those punches. Right, left, right. So Richman throwing from flat on his back. Elbow strike from Dantas on the short left hand.
Not a good trade, but remember, Dantas is already cut. He can work the cut with an elbow even from the bottom. He can open it up and make it worse. Dantas has to pull Richman off the fence. This position is too easy for Richman to pop back to his feet.
That's
like
just
that.
what he does. Swinging elbow to the right from Richman. Dantas right back in for the single leg. There's the sprawl from Richman. 150 remaining in this third and final round. Blood now pouring from that cut. Just above the lid, you see the outside.
That's a bad one.
Just above the lid, just below the brow. Left eye of Eduardo Dantas. Indeed, Jimmy, it's a really bad cut.
I think it's a minute 30 left, the last round. Really hope they don't check that out and stop it. And that's what they're doing.
It's exactly what Michael Bell is doing.
Oh, he's not checking the cut, just breaking up for inactivity.
It's got to be a huge relief to Eduardo Dantas. Dantas again on the single leg. Again the sprawl from Richman. Straight left hand from Richman. That blood just pouring into the left eye of Dantas. It's a serious cut, Jimmy. If it were, what, a quarter of an inch lower, really in the lid, it would be a lot more serious. Then I think Michael Bell would have called time and brought in the California cage side physician. As it is, we fight on. Closing stages of this bout. This fight of huge importance for both Mike Richman and Eduardo Dantas. Very close as both see the finish line. And we reach it. Very close through 15 minutes. Mike Richman versus that man, Eduardo Dantas. Jimmy, who wins this fight for you?
Mike Richman, I thought it was very close. I gave him that third round. He threw 24 more strikes in that third round, landed 12 more. It's just a busier fighter. But remember, the judges don't have the stats we have. Who knows how they'll see it.
Here's Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance inside the Bellator cage, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. All three judges cage side, Derek Cleary, Ron McCarthy, and Jackie Dinkin, all see the fight exactly the same at 29-28. All for the winner by unanimous decision, the dude, Eduardo Dantas.
Elation for Eduardo Dantas, dejection for Mike Richman, and here come the boos.
Yeah, it's a very pro-Richmond crowd, but Eduardo Dantas, in the eyes of the judges, he did enough. Very, very close rounds.
That is a massive win for Bellator's former bantamweight world champion, Eduardo Dantas.